I'm supposed to be better at queuing it out. I'm supposed to be better at queuing it out. Sorry.
Slow fade.
Slow fade, man. Hey, well, good evening. Good evening. I'm starting all professional and everything, but we're doing our live podcast again. We took a couple of weeks off. Didn't know how hard this creating stuff was, man.
Yeah, we were on a worldwide press tour. You know, we were in Egypt and, you know what I mean, and all over Europe promoting the show. So,
yeah, no, I mean honestly, like I, you know, you do this for a living, you know, so you know like how difficult it is sometimes to be creative. But we went on a 5-week stretch. We did 5 episodes, and I was like wiped. No, that's not true. We actually bought a house in between. So we were closing on a house and rehabbing and that kind of stuff. So it just got a little bit too much.
Yeah, speaking of that, like you've been going nonstop, man. You've been working a full-time job and like, you know, hiring contractors and rehabbing your place, right?
It's crazy. And we'll do a whole show on that, on dealing with contractors and all that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, man, and we'll go into it. But it was a gorgeous day here in Indy today, so I was looking forward to this all day. I'm driving out. It's beautiful fall weather, no humidity, high 70s, mid 70s, I should say. You get this every day, so it's like a repeat for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, but the one thing I do miss is like I miss like fall, like I miss like the changing of the leaves and like the, you know what I mean, the different colors of the trees and stuff, the way, all that, you know. It's not that we don't get that here in LA, you know, but you're right. It is like when it does get cold, we're a little freaked out. Like, what's going on? Global warming, you know what I mean? Instead of vice versa. Right. But yeah, today, in fact, I, you know, even before I got on the air, I was talking to Bethany, and I was telling her, "Have you seen the sky?" Because it was just so many different shades of like purple and violet and blue. It was beautiful. So
yeah. Well, let's get right into the show tonight. And I put some catchy titles in there. Hopefully somebody will look at the titles and say, I think I'll listen to the guys tonight. But I know we said when we did the podcast, we were trying to stay away from politics because you know, around the dinner table, man, if you want to get people jacked up, the old, you know, politics and religion is the 1-2 punch to get people worked up. So stay away from that. But you have to live under a rock not to know what's going on this week with Brett Kavanaugh. Have you been following that at all?
Yeah, I mean a little. I mean, I was watching, in fact, today, like just to, you know, Google and to try to like read up on the topic as well. It's like I saw that I didn't even see it. Like Matt Damon did an SNL sketch on him. So, you know, like I actually, you know, watching the hearings and stuff, it was just like spot on. You know,
well, it's like it's first of all, it's absolutely nuts. It's again kind of shows people where we're at in the country, man. And it's things that we've talked about a lot is you can't even hold a civil conversation, seems like nowadays, without people getting worked up, you know. And I don't know how you combat that, but it seems like you can't even talk to people rationally or civilly without people really just getting in a dandrum and want to choke each other.
Well, you know, the thing about it is like it really, if you think about it, it is a very sensitive topic and it's very relevant, especially here in LA and Hollywood, the stuff that's going on. Like, I just feel like the last year has been the year of like, you know, taking down these huge, you know, celebrities, you know, popularity, kind of like Cosby and like Harvey Weinstein, and you know what I'm saying, and all these allegations coming up, and you know, and all this stuff is like, you know, it's when I say it's a sensitive topic because like you don't want to deter women. You know, if something happened, you know what I'm saying? You want them to be vocal about it. You want them to not hide it and come out. Right. You know, but then also too.
We'll talk about it in a second. But like, I was like, this week, like I would try to like listen to what he was actually saying and try to follow what was going on. But I was distracted because I would look at him and I would say, dude's got great hair. He's got like great hair. And so I'd listen and you know, try to again like follow along. And every time I'd go on Twitter, see what was going on, I'd look at it like, great hair. And but he's got that all-American look. And I think sometimes too, that's what people I don't know. I think that's what they some people are mad. I mean, this guy's got this all-American look. He's had a privileged life. And I think people have like I don't know what it is about just people's desire. And again, we don't know all the facts, man. So we can't get into like, is he guilty, not guilty, that. But I mean, I'm just saying in general, it just seems like people take great pleasure in bringing these guys down. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like it's the left versus the right, and they're going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not to say what they're not saying is true. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, politics, you know, politics in general are going to be dirty. You know what I mean? That's why you have to watch, like, you know, like anything you say on camera 20, 30 years ago is definitely going to come back and haunt you.
Oh, you mean like these podcasts that we're filming?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh, man. I mean, no, but okay. But what I was going to tell you was, okay, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about is, and I wanted to pose it to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose that you were to be accused of sexual harassment. How do you defend yourself against that?
Well, first off, you know, his character, you know what I mean? Like it is his character, you know what I mean? Like he has, like, for instance, you know, not to, you know, like the facts are like this guy used to drink, right? And he's kind of a party guy, right? Like, and so like you think of some of these, like, this guy, you know, he comes from a, you know, this prep school and so on, privileged life, you know what I'm saying? The stereotypical, you know, like frat boy, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know,
but here's the thing about it is maybe I'm conflating stories, right? And I'm, you know, whatever that's called, conflating, convoluting, whatever. But you remember that documentary on the Duke lacrosse team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were innocent.
They were innocent. I mean, they were clear, but basically it ruined those guys' lives.
Yeah, it did.
Absolutely ruined. That's actually a good. It's on ESPN 30 for 30 documentary that you can see there. But all of those guys just seem like you know, and that's an allegation that you don't want to play with. But my point is, like, for instance, if someone came out today and said Alberto Mendez sexually harassed me 20 years ago, how do you defend yourself against that?
Well, it'd probably be true. So, like, you know, in my case is like you take their power away. I'm like, yeah, okay, next topic. Okay, I'm an alcoholic. Check. I eat too much. Check. So you just steal their energy. You know, you steal their power.
You know, so okay, so maybe, you know, I just as I'm talking about this, I'm like, I'm sure Brett Kavanaugh thanks his lucky stars you're not on his legal team. Yeah, Brett just submitted. Just okay, yeah, I did it.
Oh, yeah. Or one of the guys who was at the party as a witness. You know, like, but I mean, like, you know, the thing about it is I totally think it's fair game. You know, whether it happened or not, Danny, you know, the thing about it is the moment you step into politics, into the limelight, like, it's okay for them to go, if it's public knowledge, it's okay for them to go 20, 30, 40 years in the past of something you wrote in college. Yeah, you know, that's why
the point is, like, the concern is I don't like the fact that people are weaponized. They're weaponizing these things. Well, like okay, I guess me and you can talk a little bit about it because we're Hispanic, right? But at some point, when you call everything and everybody, like if we were to say racist, everybody's a racist. At some point, it minimizes and trivializes it. You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, true racist is somebody who's out to kill a minority or just extinguish a minority. You know what I mean? And we've almost now we've almost now trivialized it. Everybody's a racist, and I think if we're not careful, we'll do the same thing with this issue. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this lady is not telling the truth. I'm just saying is if you're really listening, and I'm not minimizing what she's saying, but I think if I'm not mistaken, it was something like, well, it was something like he fell on top of her. Well, I don't even know all the facts, so I'm just going to stay out of it. But I'm saying is, if you were to be accused, how would you defend yourself on something like that?
Well, first off, I'd probably get angry. You know what I mean, and be like, and totally like, to me there's no grays. It's black or white. I didn't do that. I was never in the area. I didn't do that. I got people saying that I didn't do that. Like, you can come up whatever you want. I didn't do it.
This guy can't win. He can't win because here's the thing. Okay, right. He does that. That's exactly what you said is exactly what he did. He got up at the hearing on, I think it was Friday, and he did exactly that. Angry, visibly shaken, cry, angry. And so what happens? He has an SNL skit done about him, so he can't win. So they're gonna do a skit. On the flip side is if he kind of just goes easy and just doesn't take it real serious, they're going to say, well, this guy's a sociopath. Didn't think he did anything wrong.
I have the perfect analogy for this. Perfect. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? If I ever get pulled over by the cops and they start really saying hey, we got this call, whatever, I'm like, I want a lawyer. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, I want a lawyer. I don't have to talk to you. I'm going to lawyer up like that. Because I have seen enough TV shows and have seen enough media to know that, you ready? Now I'm going to tell you every single angle. If you're nervous and you talk, he's got something to hide. He's guilty. If you're quiet, he's clamming up. He's guilty. Either way, you lose. So in that best scenario is to protect yourself. Say, either way, I'm going to get screwed. If I give them what they want, they could take that. I could go to jail for the rest of my life. If I clam up, they're going to say that I'm hiding something. So he is doing everything, in his power to get angry, be adamant. You know what I mean? The thing is he probably should, and he probably did, sit down with a team and state the facts. You know what I mean? Because if he said that he was never at that party and then suddenly pictures show up with him in the background, you state all the facts, and then actually that should come from the defense team, and should be look, he was there, he was this, he was there, and all these people never saw him in the vicinity of her, blah 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 blah, and so on and so on. And then but then also too, it's and I know this sounds bad, but if you really look at it as a defense case, then you start to chip away at her character. Is this a person that lies? Is this a person that's very political and has something to gain? Is this person eventually going to write a book? You know what I mean? Is this person seeking financial gain? And you start pecking away at that. And I know that sounds horrible because here's a woman that's defending herself and saying she got assaulted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really about her character. Who do you believe? Do you believe this guy? Do you think this guy's telling the truth? Or do you believe her that you know nothing about?
That's the whole thing about this whole case. And I didn't really want to talk about the case. I want to talk about what would happen if we were accused of this stuff.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the case, here's the situation. They both sound believable.
Right.
She got up on Friday and she sounds credible. She sounds believable. And then he gets up. And so the thing about it is there's people saying, what if they're both telling the truth? What if the both are telling the truth, that in his mind, he didn't do anything. It was just an accident. He fell over on her and maybe was a little bit drunk. And in her mind, she took it a different way. And so there's no win-win there. But my thought was, what would you do if you are up for a position, a promotion at work, and all of a sudden somebody says Alberto Mendez did this and that? I started thinking to myself, I don't know how do you defend yourself against that?
You can't.
For instance, I've talked to Karen about this. I worked at a college for 20 years around a lot of young people, God forbid, what would happen? I don't know what I would do. I think the only thing I would really have to rely on is my character. Like, people know me.
That either that or you tell the people, hey, just so you know, I have cameras. Everything we're saying is being recorded.
But I'm saying now,
yeah,
right now,
yeah,
if
yes,
something would come up like now that
right.
from the past, I think too, the lesson learned for me on this one is exactly like you're saying, is, man, you have to watch every position that you put yourself in, not so nothing like
but then
that.
but at the same time, and I'm not making light of the situation, but I'm saying, people say, oh, well, he drinks and this and that, and he has a drinking problem. Like, so what? People recover from drinking problems, but does he have one now? What does his character say? Look at his track record, which I know nothing about. I've not looked at it. And you look at both of their characters, and that's probably where you're going to find the truth. Because here's the thing about the media. Right now, this is good TV.
Oh, they're like sharks, man.
Yeah, it's good TV. And so they're gonna keep. But I know for me, if that ever came out, you know what I mean? Like what you're saying about you, first off, I'm never gonna run for a political office. You know what I'm saying? When you do run for office like that, Danny, and you are in the the limelight and you're in the spotlight, like, it's all fair game. I know that sounds horrible, but their job is to ruin you so that you don't get the nomination.
Man,
they're gonna do anything, and it's not left, right, because right does the same thing.
Right.
They do, Danny.
Well, I guess the point is, since me and you will never run for anything more than like supervisor of an apartment complex, we shouldn't have to worry about this.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, a while back, me and Karen were talking about. I think we even talked about on the show about that Whole30.
Oh yeah,
we have been talking about it, and so we talked, and then finally Karen just said, she said to me, she said, okay, Tuesday after Labor Day, September 5th, we're doing it. So I didn't actually read the book, so I was really relying on her for the cliff notes, like help me out here with how to do this. And so so she gave me the cliff notes, and I told her, okay, well, here's what it's going to be is you pack my lunches and help me make the meals, or tell me what to make and I'll make it, and I'll just do whatever you tell me until I read the book. So so I actually just started reading the book about 3 or 4 days ago, and the book is incredible. In case you watch this video a little bit later, this Whole30, it's actually really good. So Karen is kind of giving me the play-by-play of what's going to happen, and do you know much about the Whole30?
I mean, basically, Whole30 is a form of keto. It's keto and Atkins. So basically, and tell me if I'm wrong. I haven't read the book, but I know I've had friends who are on it. So basically, keto's basically no processed foods or sugar. It's basically you use protein and fats as your primary source of meals, and you stay away from processed foods and sugar. Okay.
No sugar.
And that's what
emphasis of this thing is: no sugar. So you eat no grains at all, no beans at all, no grains, no beans, no dairy.
Which are carbs. All those are carbs.
No dairy. Then my saving grace on this one is you can have potatoes, which is really good. Anyway, so Karen's doing the play-by-play, and so we start this diet, and so she's reading the book as we're doing the diet and telling me what's going to happen, because in the book it takes the 30 days that you're on this program, and it tells you this is what you'll be feeling on day 1 or day 2, whatever.
Sure.
So Karen told me, well, today you're going to feel, crabby. You're going to feel like you're going to just kill
something. Lethargic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know I'm flying all over the place. My ADD's kicking in, but right now is Sunday. Tuesday will be day 30. So we've gone 28 days, 27 days or 28 days, whatever, without any sugar. So, which is great, right? And so after the first few days, it was real sluggish, and then about day 12 or day 13, something snapped, and I mean, I just felt this. I woke up at
Yeah.
6:30 in the morning, and I was ready to go. And I went from 6:30 in the morning all the way till like 11
Yeah.
midnight. And you know what that is, right?
She explained it. Yeah.
You know what that is, right? I go, what? She goes, tiger
Addiction.
blood. Tiger
What?
blood. They call it tiger blood for some reason. Is like when you have that wake up moment, and I'm like,
But do you know what it is from a chemical standpoint? Like what's happening?
I don't really care. I just like the effect.
You have tiger blood.
I just know like something happened, and
Well, it's
so
like, yeah. Basically, what happened is you're addicted to sugar, like heroin. You're addicted to heroin. You get off heroin, you're clean. You have a moment of clarity. It's called a fog. So you were in a fog, and then the moment the sugar got out of your system, like literally got out of your system, your mind started working and started processing. You probably have more energy now than you ever had like in the last year.
oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's the thing. So oh, it's phenomenal. But I went to have a wellness check last week. And I
Oh
know people
wow.
are watching this really want to know about my wellness check. But in the 2 weeks that I had done that whole 30, I lost 6 pounds. My blood pressure was normalized. So I'm on this last wellness check. But this is everything. I say this because I want to read this. These are all the things that happen by doing this thing for 30 days. And so I want to encourage somebody out there that's like, like borderline, should I do this or not? Okay, this happens. This is physical stuff that happens on the outside after 30 days of doing this. Fewer blemishes, glowing skin. Do you see my skin glowing?
Oh yeah.
Longer, stronger nails, brighter eyes, fresher breath, whiter teeth. That flatter stomach, which yes, leaner appearance, clothes fit better, rings fit better, all that, less bloating, less joint swelling. Before this, before wait a minute, before this 30 days, I could barely move without joint pain all over my body.
That's amazing.
No longer gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Right.
No joint pain.
Hey, if you read the book, I'm sure in Whole 30, that's called inflammation. You got rid of your inflammation. That's what arthritis is.
Yeah. Well, but the best thing about this thing was, and of course we have a 3-year-old that's running around. He's a madman. Love him. One of these days I'm gonna show a picture. But Landon, our little guy, man, he's awesome. But he wears you out. And I was telling Karen, I feel like I haven't slept in 3 years since he's been born. I feel like I haven't slept. And doing this whole 30, I've gotten the best sleep. I'm sleeping like when I go down, when I come up, I feel like just complete rest.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to try it on Landon, but if you did that no sugar on Landon, he'd be a different kid. Like he probably wouldn't be as hyped. Sugar is in everything in all the kids' foods, man. It's so just think of all the cereals we grew up on.
You the heroin analogy, man. That's scary, man.
Well, it's true. Well, let me ask you this, right? I challenge you.
No, I challenge you.
No, I challenge you to go back and look at the first episode and look at this episode. And you're right. Your face has gone down. Your skin is clear. I mean, you look more.
What was that movie we loved from the 80s? You Are the Last Warrior. He got the glow. He got the.
Yeah.
What was that?
What is it?
You are the last warrior.
No, The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon, yeah.
I feel like The Last Dragon. I got the glow, man. But no.
Showing up. Remember the guy's name? Showing up. Showing up.
No, but yeah, but it feels good, and I want to encourage if somebody watches the video a little bit later, give it a shot. For 30 days, you can do it. Those couple times we thought man, we're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to do this. But you're right. But like you said it earlier, if you can go 30 days without eating the sugar, what happens is your body resets itself and starts actually burning fat. It starts burning fat, and so it's been really good. I've enjoyed it.
I mean, yeah, dude, you look a lot livelier, Like physically, you look a lot better.
Yeah,
So
I feel great. All right. Well, lastly tonight on this abbreviated edition of Danny and I, when we first started talking about Brett Kavanaugh, I wanted to do like the news anchor scene, like do a profile and come in like tonight on Danny and I. But we killed it. We're still learning. We're still learning production anyway. Um, I keep a couple books that I've been reading. Actually, we talked about the last time that Beautiful Boy book.
oh yeah.
Finished reading that, and that's why when you said that sugar's an addiction, man, it kind of hit home. Actually, that book kind of hit home as I read it, because that book really deals a lot about addiction. I mean, this guy, and I don't agree with everything in there. Everything, some of the things in there, um, and I give the guy a lot of. Steve Carell plays the guy. David Sheck, I think, is his name, and Steve Carell plays him in the movie that's coming out. And I give parents that or parents of addicts, I give them a lot of leeway, But again,
I
he
think this is the movie. This movie's just coming out.
yeah, Beautiful Boy, right? It's just coming out.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I've seen previews to it.
I based on the book. I can't, I couldn't watch. It's probably too depressing for me. But the book was fantastic. But the book actually chronicles a lot about addiction, and I think that's what snapped for me. So when Karen told me, "Hey, we're going to do the whole 30," I think I was a lot more open to the idea because after reading that book on addiction, it was tough. It was a hard pill to swallow, but it was like, you know what, man, I think I have a lot of these same tendencies here with sugar and food and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a hard, it was an epiphany, but it is a great book anyway. So if anybody's out there, looking for a good book to read on that's a great book, beautiful book. But I wanted to talk to you about this one because I know you like to read and that kind of stuff. But I came across this book. Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The author sounds familiar. What else has he written?
Oh man, Malcolm Gladwell, and I'm not going to get any money for this yet. But once our podcast hits like 10 subscribers, we actually almost tripled that. So
Oh wow.
okay. But Malcolm Gladwell, he's written books like Blink, and that's an awesome.
Blink. That's a
Blink is an
yeah.
awesome book. Blink is what is Blink. The whole premise of that book is that
Like pattern. Was it patterns?
well, he basically teaches you that the way we're wired is your visceral or your gut instinct or your first reaction is almost always right. We're taught like not to go with our gut when we first. He goes, but
sure.
It's almost instinctual. And he's got all kinds of data and research and stuff about how people made better choices when they were presented the facts and without overthinking it. Boom. So Blake is a good one. He wrote another book called Outliers, and Outliers is fantastic, and it's basically the story of success. And he looks at some successful people, and basically he shows you there's a lot more to their success than what meets the eye. And it was basically calming people down because sometimes you try not to compare yourself to other people, but you do. And what he was saying is, sometimes with other successful people, you don't know all the facts. You think you do. And especially like when stories are like rags to riches, you think, oh, this guy just, he was just really hard worker and he kind of fills in the gaps. And Outliers is a great book, especially not to give us late bloomers excuses for our mediocrity, but he does kind of explain it. But this one, David and Goliath, it's a really cool book because the title implies it. It just shows how underdogs and misfits battle big problems. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is there's a guy in this book in chapter 2 or 3 or whatever. His name is David Boys, and David Boys was dyslexic and struggled with reading. And you know what happens when you have learning disabilities? You're automatically
you work harder. You work harder. Yeah.
But
But
when you're younger, how do people look at you when you have learning disabilities?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like something's wrong with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And back in our day, they held you back. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, they keep passing you along and let the next teacher deal with it. But back in the day, they would hold you back. You know, like there was no ESL when I grew up. You know, Danny, think about it. Like in Phil Sheridan, like you either learned the language or you didn't.
Oh, you're gone. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So this guy, David Boys, he was dyslexic, and it's a long story, but he just had a real fascinating life. But in his mid to late 20s, he was making money doing construction, different things, and his wife said, "Hey, this is gonna at some point your back's gonna break. You really have to think a little bit differently." So she brought a bunch of pamphlets home from some colleges, and the dude went to law school like in his mid to late 20s, and as a dyslexic, got into law school and then or got into a regular college and then got into law school, whatever, and he became one of the greatest trial lawyers in the last 50 years. And so this guy Malcolm Gladwell shows that dyslexia on the surface looks like a weakness, right? But
Right.
but it actually made this guy work harder. It made him a better listener. And as a matter of fact, this guy tells the story, Malcolm Gladwell tells the story of how in a big business meeting, huge business meeting of a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of very smart, wealthy business people, one of the professors asked a question, said, how many in here, um, either you've been diagnosed or you think you may have some type of learning disability? He says in the book that over half of the people in the room, these are all successful entrepreneurs, over half of them raised their hand of probably they were either diagnosed or they suspect they have a learning disorder. So the point I was wondering is like if you really work a weakness, you can actually make it a strength.
Right. No, it's so true. Like, yeah. Like, what I'm saying? Like, people too. I was just talking about like Pixar. The guy. I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that created Pixar. Like, he actually developed technology, right, or helped them develop technology to do these like animated, computer generated, stories. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times, like when you're challenged with something difficult, you know what I mean, you rise to the occasion. Like, had these people not had, dyslexia or whatever, you know what I'm saying, learning disabilities, they probably wouldn't have tried as hard. You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, one of the things that he points out, and this is what is really cool about this book, is one of the things that he points out is when you have these problems, you have to be unconventional, man. You have to be resourceful.
Yeah.
You have to figure out a way not to like one dude in there that had dyslexia and keep kept getting held back. And what he would do was it's like he got a D in a class, and so he went to the professor or to the teacher when he was like in fifth grade. He went to the teacher. He said, "Oh," he said, "Man, if my mom finds out I got a C, a D in this class, she's gonna kill me. She's gonna kill anyway." And he would beat down these teachers. To teachers say, "Okay, I'll raise it to a C." And so he learned like if you just beat down these teachers, that they would raise his grade, and that's how he made it all the way through college. And what this guy says in the book is because of this learning disability, he really learned the art of persuasion and negotiation.
Anyway, he's like a marketing genius.
He's actually a producer in Hollywood. He's a producer, like,
Oh,
and has negotiated, getting money for
oh
film and that kind
yeah.
of stuff. So it's funny. But the one thing also that he mentions in there is that um, when you're when you grow up that way, you sometimes you get labeled like bad, or you get labeled different, punk. It's just because, like, man, you're trying, but you have this learning disability. He says after a while you just quit caring what people think. He said, and that's one of the most incredible attributes you could take in to business or into
Well,
entrepreneurial.
that's rejection,
Right.
failure. People are scared of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he really says this is invaluable, man. When you just learn, like, I don't care what people think. I don't care,
Yeah.
because those are the innovators, right? Those are the people that do great things. But the point is, that these are people that had weaknesses or perceived weaknesses, and they became strength. You've talked about this with yourself, that you think, me and you, we kid a lot that we've never been diagnosed ADD, but we know we have it. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you've said that you
Well,
struggle.
like just all right, put this way, right? Like you've known me your whole life, right? So you know my attention span is that of a gnat. Like ever since we were kids, I've always been like a daydreamer looking out.
What was that?
Yeah, exactly. Looking out the window. I mean, like I could pull up report cards about like, like from like in kindergarten, first grade, Alberto spends a lot of time looking outside the window. You know what I mean? He's not really focused. I was bored. And then like gaming comes around, and that's where I feel like gaming and the repetitive motions, like ADHD, I feel like some of that is formed through that. Like, dude, out of both of us, I was a total gamer. Always got the new game systems. I mean, I remember that one time you were cracking up because I had thrown up like twice in my big screen, and I kept. Remember that? I threw up. I had motion sickness. I think I was playing Halo or forgot what I was, but I had motion sickness. I threw up twice, and I kept playing. And my brother's like, "You're an animal." And I mean, look at where I
got 3 levels to go.
Right. I mean, and look what I do for a living.
No, but see, also too, that's the point. Like
yeah.
Okay. Everybody that has studied like ADD or ADHD knows that it's not that you can't pay attention, it's that you're very easily bored. But when you find something that interests you,
yes,
you are laser focused, right? And that's what you do all day long. You are laser focused to every little detail that comes across that screen. And that's what makes you good at what you do.
Wow. It's funny you say that because I have, my friend Michael Leahy. He tells this story about me that like I vaguely remember because I wasn't paying attention, but I was working, and as I was working, this is when I worked for Teller's Productions in Chicago, and I was working, and cha-ching. So, and I was working, and I was so in the zone because I had a deadline. I had a viewing, let's say at 1:00, and it was like 10:30, 11. I only had like 2 hours. So I'm editing like crazy. And the graphics person walked in and said, "Hey, just so you know, like I did the graphics, they're updated, they're on the server." And she's telling me this. And as she's telling me this, I'm going, yeah. Just can you email me? And then she said again, she's like, "Well, it's on the server." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Okay. Please just email me, okay?" She says, "Okay." And so as I'm doing it, Michael told me, because he knew I was in the zone. Like when I took like a break, he's like, "You didn't hear a word she said." I go, "No, I didn't." I didn't know. And he actually was like, she was trying. I was like, maybe I kept telling her to do that because I was being very robotic because I didn't have time to take my focus off here. And even in this and break away, because to get back in would have taken me an hour or two. Right. So I was very, And so he laughs about that. He goes, "You didn't hear a word she said." I go, "No, I didn't."
Well, that's funny because like also like what you just said, like when you become hyper focused on something that's important to you, that's the silver lining of that ADHD. I remember as I was thinking about this, I remember when I went to college. Man, you know how you are in college, you're broke as a joke.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote a check at the snack shop. They used to take checks back in the day, and I wrote a $3 check, and next thing you know, I get a call from one office. "Hey, that check bounced." I got a call from my bank and whatever. Long story short, that $3 check ended up costing me like almost $200. But by the time it was all said and done,
Oh yeah, all the checks bouncing.
Yeah, and then everything else, and so you get a wake up call, right? And you realize, man, if I don't get organized, and if I don't learn this, it's going to really cost me. Right. And I became hyper focused on how to do finances and and it was a weakness. It really was a weakness because I was unorganized, because scatterbrained. But when I became hyper focused on that, I actually became very good at it. And Karen laughs sometimes because I will not rest until I find that last penny in the check register, And but the point is, sometimes you can bag on yourself about different weaknesses you perceive you have, but that weakness can actually become a strength if you let it ride its course and work it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like it's all, like I remember growing up, I went to a school that was not credited, right? I went to a Christian school, it was not credited like for college credit. A lot of times you go to high schools and you can earn college credit. You can earn college credit while you're in high school.
Right.
So by the time I went to college, I was deficient. So most people would throw in the towel and be like, "Oh, I'm like 20 credits. I need 20 credits and there's 0 credits just to get me up to par with, to get into school. Not even 100 classes. These were 0 classes. So, but then there was like, you look at things and then I started reading up. Well, I know Spanish. So those 20 credits, I tested out of 12 credits of Spanish. And you start figuring out ways, you know what I'm saying? So you look at opportunities and it's all in perspective, And
also, like we've talked about before, like, growing up single parent home, growing up without a dad, these are all weaknesses, right? But your weakness can become your strength, man, if you work it. It makes you different. Like sometimes I think I have empathy, and it's actually a strength that was developed from this area. It makes me a different person. I see the world differently.
Right.
And so what could have been a weakness, what could have been something that drove me to drug abuse or substance abuse or these things, with time, I've allowed it to become a strength. You know what I mean? And that's, I guess where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in like, in the business that I work in, we use a software called Avid. Avid is an editing tool. It's how to edit, right? So even, I mean, you study movies and without even realizing, you can storyboard stuff in your head because you've seen so many movies, which I have, and you're like, oh, well, this movie did this, this, and that. But the thing about it is, you still had to learn the tools, and both schools that the college I graduated from didn't have Avid, right? So I remember like as soon as I got out, and even while I was in school, I was reading the Avid manuals. So it was a way to get up to par, So yeah, but it's all, like you said, it's all in perspective. It could be a weakness or strength.
Yeah, and if you wanna like, if you're watching the video, if you want to check this out, it's called David and Goliath. We're not going to do book reviews on here because neither one of us are smart enough to do that. Neither one of us are smart. What are you doing? Are you doing a little jig, man?
A little bit.
Huh? What are you doing?
A little bit.
Doing a little sway?
Probably because I have to go to the bathroom.
I talked to one guy on the bus today, and I said, I'm the only Mexican with no rhythm. I can't even do a sway. But thanks for tuning in tonight, folks. Again, this is David and Goliath, Malcolm Gladwell. Are you a misfit? Think you got a weakness? You can use that. Hey, Notre Dame won again this weekend.
I thought you were going to watch them anymore. Well, they got their butts handed to themselves from actual football players.
What's that?
Well, they got their butt handed to them from actual football players.
I know. I can't turn on my team, though.
You still have hope.
I know. So thanks, folks, for tuning in to the broadcast tonight. Again, if you have any ideas or you want us to talk about something, throw it up on the page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you like it. Share it along. But thanks for spending a little time with us tonight. And we'll see you again sometime next week. And hopefully we have some more creative juices and we don't go another 3 weeks without doing a podcast.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right. See you guys. Good night.